Hello, and welcome back to First Chapter Friday. I am Miss Mary at the Dutcher Middle School Library, and I hope everyone had a great winter break and a Happy New Year. Our first read for 2021 is going to be from the Dear America series, and is also in honor of World Braille Day. Braille is a system of touch reading and writing for blind persons in which raised dots represent the letters of the alphabet. Braille is read by moving the hands from left to right, and was created in 1824 by Louis Braille, a Frenchman who lost his sight as a result of a childhood accident. The original Braille was based on the French alphabet, and an English version came out in 1905. Early Braille education is crucial to literacy, education, and employment among the visually impaired, and that's why we bring awareness to it and observe it every January 4th. So, we are going to read Mirror, Mirror on the Wall, The Diary of Bess Brennan, The Perkins School for the Blind, 1932, by Barry Denenberg. Sunday, December 27th, 1931. I don't know what I would do without Elin, my twin sister. Writing my diary for me is her idea. She knows how faithful I've been. I haven't missed one single solitary day since I was 7, which is almost 5 years ago. I can remember the last entry I wrote. The snow continued to fall throughout the night. It appears as if the whole earth is carpeted in white. A truly glorious sight. Ellen and I are going sledding before anyone else ruins the pristine snowfall. Ellen insists we can do it together. We do everything else together, she says, so why not this? We're in my room now, and Ellen is writing all this down. Ellen and I are mirror twins. I'm left-handed and Ellen is right-handed, so when we face each other and move, it's like seeing yourself in a mirror. Ellen thinks I ought to talk about the accident first, so I shall. It was early on the morning of December 5th, and we were sledding down the big hill behind the boarded-up Baldwin house. It was a perfect day for sledding, sunny, not too cold. The freshly fallen, untouched snow blanketed the entire hill. Unfortunately, just after we arrived, Brian McManus and some of his friends came and started sledding right next to us, which was most annoying because there was ample room for them elsewhere on the hill. Of course, this came as no surprise, because if there's one word that describes Brian McManus, it's annoying. He's in our class even though he's older. In the entire history of Arlington Junior High, he's the only one who's been left back twice. Every time we went down the hill, one of them would follow in our wake, yelling, like a hyena, and purposefully coming closer each time just to scare us. On my third run, Brian came right at me, grinning that foolish grin he always wears. I veered sharply to the right to avoid the inevitable collision, and I didn't see the tree until it was too late. I don't even remember hitting the tree, just seeing it rushing toward me like it was moving and not me. The next thing I remember was waking up in a strange bed and wondering why my eyes were all bandaged. After that, nothing was ever the same. I spent countless hours in the crowded waiting room at the Mass General Eye Clinic, wondering if they were ever going to call my name, and if they made the seats that hard on purpose. I endured tedious examinations by doctors in starched coats that crinkled when they moved, and who came so close to my face that I could smell their medicine smell. They dripped drops in my eyes that they said dilated my pupils, but only burned. They flashed lights in my eyes. I could see only a milky white cloud. The snow, I thought. They scratched notes on pads and had low-voiced conversations with Mama and Uncle Ten. Very serious condition. Detached retinas. Experimental but urgent operations. Odds are against us. Nothing we can do. I had 2 operations in 2 weeks. When the bandages were removed after the first operation, I could see enough to know if someone was there. Sparks of light appeared when I closed my eyes. The worst part was having to lie completely still. They had something on either side of my head to keep me from moving. I had to lie that way for days. I remember waking up not knowing what time it was or even what day, and realizing Ellen had fallen asleep in the chair but was still holding my hand. Or hearing the sound of Mama furiously knitting away as she kept her night vigil by my side. After each operation, my sight worsened. In the beginning, I was able to tell when it was day and when it was night, but after the second operation, I couldn't even do that. What little vision I had right after the accident was slowly evaporating until a dark curtain descended, letting in the barest amount of light. I needed a miracle, not an operation. The operations failed, and the miracle never came. Ellen claims she isn't tired, but I am, so I will continue tomorrow. It's me, Ellen. Bess is sound asleep. I'm so happy she's letting me do this for her. She has always been so good about her diary. No matter how late it was or how early we had to get up in the morning, she wouldn't go to sleep until she finished that day's entry. That's how I got the idea. The night Bess came home after her last operation, I noticed that there was no light coming from under her door. I had gotten so used to seeing her light while she scribbled away in her diary that I was startled by its absence. Ever since the accident, I had been trying to think of anything I could do to make her feel better. Surely, I thought, there must be something, but no matter how hard I concentrated, I couldn't think of anything. Walking down the hall that night, I realized there was something. I could help her keep her diary. I could write it down for her. I wasn't sure if Bess would like my idea. Maybe she would think that a diary wasn't truly a diary if someone else was hearing everything you said. If you can't be totally honest, is it a real diary? But when I suggested it, Bess brightened up for the first time since the accident. She wanted to try. She said if there was anyone in the world she didn't mind knowing her innermost thoughts, it was me. It was her idea that I write in it also. Frankly, I'd rather not. For one thing, I'm not a very good writer, certainly not as good as my sister, and it just doesn't seem right. But Bess insists, so here I am. Hearing Bess talk about that awful morning was the first time I truly understood what happened. It was all so quick. One moment I was watching her sledding down the hill, and the next moment everything was a blur. The terrifying ride in the back of the ambulance while it screamed through the traffic, the frustrating confusion in the emergency room, explaining everything to Mama and Uncle Ted when they, at last, arrived, seeing the stricken look in Mama's eyes, trying to understand what the doctors were saying and not believing what I was hearing. And then, later, sitting with Bess. She was so patient. I don't know how she did it. If it had been me, I would have jumped out of my skin. Hour after hour in brightly lit, overheated waiting rooms filled with people and wondering what their troubles were, and worse, hour after hour in those dreadful hospital rooms. Bess wanted me to be with her, so I came every time. Both times she had to go into the hospital for those operations, we all put our faith in, despite the doctor's measured words of caution. And every time she went to see them about her progress afterwards. God, how I hated those doctors. She said she could accept their uncertainty, but not their unwillingness to admit it. She said nothing when they asked her if she had any questions because she knew that they just wanted to move on to the next patient. At least I could be there and listen to her. I'm a very good listener, like Mama. And that is the end of the first chapter of Mirror, Mirror on the Wall, the Diary of Bess Brennan by Barry Denenberg. If you would like to know the rest of Bess's story or learn more about the Perkins School for the Blind, this book is available for checkout at the Dutcher Middle School Library. As always, thank you for joining me for another First Chapter Friday. Thank you for listening, and I hope you have a great weekend.